After assuming office, he says that my priorities are the government's priorities. On being asked if the appointment comes as a surprise, Jaishankar says, I don't think this is the time to get into these kind of questions. Steering clear from the entire controversy that has been brewing since last night over the containing or the curtailing of the tenure of the outgoing Foreign Secretary. Let's quickly listen in to the new Foreign Secretary of the country, S Jaishankar.
Over the next 2 years?
As I take over, I'm happy to work with all of you. I know that the media is an important part of our foreign policy projection. So I don't think this is the time to get into those kinds of questions. I really thank you all for being here today. I value your good wishes. And I'm sure we'll have a lot to do with each other.
But sir, can you outline your priorities? Will the neighboring countries be the priority? Will the West be the priority, or look east? So yes.
My priorities are the government's priorities. And I think at this time, let's leave it at that. So once again, I thank you all for coming, and this is a big responsibility. I'm very I would say I'm very honored that I have been assigned this responsibility, and I look forward to working with all of you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
So India gets its new Foreign Secretary in Mr. S Jaishankar. This was his first reaction after assuming charge. Very clearly at the onset, he has in fact made the statement that his priorities are the government's priorities. Should we read a hidden message in this? Was this the reason why the former Foreign Secretary was removed from his position? Was she not aligned with what the government's priorities actually was? All that now is in the political domain, with the Congress party leveling certain allegations, saying that this is a retribution for the stand that she took during the Devyani Khobragade matter. The Bharatiya Janata Party has now reacted to the Congress questioning the removal of Sujata Singh. The party, in its first reaction, says the opposition is trying to make a hue and cry over a non-issue. Let's quickly listen in. Now, as we told you, the Congress has questioned the timing of the sacking. Manish Tiwari tweeted and then later spoke to Headlines Today as well, asking if the removal was a late retribution for the stand on the Devyani Khobragade matter, and more importantly, if it was a coincidence that this came right after US President Barack Obama's visit.
Everybody is aware that she was the principal driver of the government stand when Devyani Khobragade was insulted by the US prosecutors in New York. So therefore, government needs to answer, because if they were unhappy with the Foreign Secretary, they could have asked her to go in the past 8 months. Why now? What really impelled the decision immediately after a presidential visit? After all, the Foreign Secretary is the head of the Foreign Service. And if you do decide to remove the Foreign Secretary, and the reason that you put out is because the Prime Minister was ostensibly unhappy with her, did the unhappiness suddenly surface after a presidential visit? If the unhappiness was there earlier, this action could have been taken. After all, they've been in office for 9 months. Why now? The timing raises eyebrows.
Maha Siddiqui now joins us. She was there in that room when the new Foreign Secretary actually took over. Maha, you tried to ask a question when you quite clearly noticed that Mr. Jaishankar is not really interested in answering anything related to this controversy. So you asked a question on what is going to be his priority, look east, the west, or immediate neighborhood. Now, he's quite literally a man of few words. He did not say much, but what is it that you are gathering as the possible reason why what the Congress feels, where you are right now, the Congress headquarters, the Congress feels could be a late retribution?
Well, the Congress party, as we just played out the soundbite, also Sanket, is clearly raising questions about the timing of this decision, coming as it does just after President Barack Obama has left India after attending the Republic Day parade. But yes, that timing could be important because it does appear that the Prime Minister Narendra Modi has been pretty impressed with Mr. S Jaishankar and the way he has handled both Mr. Modi's visit to the United States and also how he has facilitated in getting President Barack Obama to attend the Republic Day Parade, becoming the first US president to do so as a chief guest. So clearly he has impressed Narendra Modi with his dynamism and his out-of-the-box thinking. What we understand is that over the past few months, the new dispensation was not perhaps too happy with the way Sujata Singh was handling her position as the Foreign Secretary. We understand that the government at least felt that she was not in sync with the new Prime Minister or even his energy as far as foreign policy is concerned.
Do we have specifics? Maha, do we have specific instances why the government felt so?
Well, we understand that there was a certain sort of a situation that arose around the BRICS summit where the kind of understanding between the Prime Minister and Sujata Singh got a little disbalanced is what we understand. But even after that, all the important decisions, the way in which Narendra Modi wants to see the country having its relationships with other countries, specifically the United States, was all facilitated by Mr. S Jaishankar. We know that the whole idea of calling President Barack Obama to India for the Republic Day Parade was Mr. Narendra Modi's, and that was clearly facilitated not by the Foreign Secretary or taken forward by the Foreign Secretary, but directly by the then US Ambassador S Jaishankar, who is now the Foreign Secretary. Also, Sanket, if I can point out one more thing, that this is not the first government, even though the Congress might be raising issues, and I'm standing here in the Congress headquarters, but we also do know the fact that when Sujata Singh was being made the Foreign Secretary, even at that time, Prime Minister Manmohan Singh was in favor of her being superseded by Mr. S Jaishankar, and even Dr. Manmohan Singh was keen that Mr. S Jaishankar be made the Foreign Secretary for many reasons, and one reason being that Mr. S Jaishankar had experience in India's neighborhood, which Sujata Singh did not. And for the past many terms, we have seen that whoever the Foreign Secretary is has had a substantial amount of experience in India's neighborhood, namely in Pakistan or China. That has been a crucial factor for the elevation, and that is why Dr. Manmohan Singh had wanted Mr. S Jaishankar, also because he had played a very important factor in the Indo-US nuclear deal, and again we have seen him play a very crucial role in the operationalization of that deal right now in Mr. Narendra Modi's dispensation. So clearly he was a person who was clearly being favored, but curtailment of Sujata Singh's term by 6 months is something that has not gone down well politically, which is now brewing into a controversy.
All right, so the 2 points that Maha is actually mentioning there, Maha, the 2 points that, thanks very much for joining us though, the 2 points that Maha is actually mentioning is that number one could be the sort of uncomfortable situation during the BRICS summit, and then the latest provocation being this particular visit where this establishment perhaps was not getting a more in-sync behavior as far as the Foreign Secretary ought to be giving to this present political dispensation. Nevertheless, we have a new Foreign Secretary, S Jaishankar, who has taken charge. He has replaced Sujata Singh, whose term was curtailed 6 months ahead of her term ending. The Indian ambassador to the US, Jaishankar, was appointed as the new Foreign Secretary just 24 hours after US President completed a successful visit to India.
Agreement deals with all.
He is a man of few words, but a sharp negotiator. 60-year-old S Jaishankar, ambassador to US, is now India's top diplomat. Wednesday late evening, the Cabinet Appointments Committee notified the big shake-up in the Ministry of External Affairs. Sujata Singh, an officer of the 1976 IFS batch who had assumed office following an extension on the 1st of August 2013, resigned from the Foreign Secretary's post with immediate effect. She was the second Foreign Secretary to be removed before completion of her term, the first being A.P. Venkateshwaran, who was sacked unceremoniously in 1987 by then Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi. S. Jaishankar's appointment as the new Foreign Secretary came just a day after Barack Obama concluded his India visit. and Jaishankar had an important role to play behind the scenes in ensuring its success. He was sent to the US as India's envoy in December of 2013, a diplomat who proved his mark on various occasions over the years. During the 21-day Depsang standoff between the Indian and Chinese militaries in 2013, he was credited with defusing the crisis. As Joint Secretary of America's Division, he was key negotiator of the Indo-US Civil Nuclear Agreement. He was also part of the team that resolved the dispute over the supply of US nuclear fuel to the Tarapur power station in India. Even PM Modi was very impressed with Jaishankar's handling of his successful tour to New York and Washington DC in September last year. No sooner had the word been out, some high praise could be seen on Twitter for India's top new diplomat. Former Jammu and Kashmir Chief Minister Omar Abdullah tweeted, and I quote, "If the reports about Indian ambassador to US Jaishankar being appointed Foreign Secretary are correct, it's an excellent decision," unquote. Son of India's most prominent strategic experts K. Subramaniam, Jaishankar takes charge at a time when Modi government has felt the need of a strong foreign policy hand